I want to provide you guys some really practical takeaways from this video rather than just me sharing my experience. I do want you to understand how I'm feeling, but I do want to give you something tangible out of it. So I'll just start off by saying headspace wasn't great the past probably like 2 weeks. Just a combination of I was feeling very hungry, so I had to quickly adjust the kinds of foods I was eating so I could get more volume of food in, so I just wasn't feeling hungry. I still have a very big lull in energy, but I can deal with that. It doesn't bother me as long as I don't feel hungry. So I've dealt with that. I'm going to give you some very practical takeaways, some foods you should be eating. If you're eating in a deficit, you're experiencing some hunger issues, I'm going to give you the foods you should be eating. So stick around for that. Next thing, the thing that was making me irritable was just losing my sex drive. I could have saved it by bumping the fats back up a little bit. Here's the thing, even if you're trying to lose weight, you should not lose your sex drive. In the instance that you're prepping for a bodybuilding show, it's pretty bloody likely you're going to lose it at some point. I was barely hanging on to it by a thread just with the amount of fats I was putting in, and then I decided, you know what, I'm just going to drop the fats so that way I can increase my protein and carbs, because I'm going to get more volume of food, be fuller for longer, and then just, you know, give up on the girl situation for the next 6-7 weeks until these shows are over. So I just had to make that decision. Coming to terms with that was probably the hardest thing. I was just a bit pissed because obviously, you know, can't have any fun in the meantime, but is what it is. In saying that, now I've got a lot better mental clarity. I've realized how much time I'm saving because of that. So I've had some time to think. I've got some really good things in the works now with my business in terms of working with my Gen Pop clients, the services I'm going to be able to offer, and I'm currently working on building some things out. So hopefully I've got all that done in the next, I don't know, 8 to 12 weeks. The only reason I say that is just because with the amount of exercise I'm doing per day, how run down I'm feeling, I'm sleeping a lot more. I just don't think I'm going to get that done prior to those shows, so I'll probably have to finish off afterwards. But anyway, so looking forward to that, quite happy about that. I've sort of got a bit of my mojo back. I've now booked in 3 shows instead of the original one, so I've got 3 shows, so I'm going to really make this whole thing worth my while. So that's another really good thing. So these first 2 things are an absolute lifesaver. So first one, always use a small utensil. So if you're eating something that needs a spoon, use a very small headed spoon, like use a teaspoon, use a baby spoon, all right? The reason why you want to use a small spoon or even a small fork, okay, is it's going to take you longer to eat. The longer it takes you to eat, the fuller you think you're going to become. You think you're eating more food. It's going to take more time to eat, so the food's got a chance to get to the digestive system. It can sort of hit you a bit before you finish. You're like, shit, I'm still hungry, okay? So small utensils. Second thing, small plates, small bowls, okay? Adjust the size of the container you're having to the size of the meal. Always make it so like the food's almost coming out of over the bowl, out of the plate, like that quantity of food's too much for whatever piece of thing, like for whatever bowl or plate you're using, okay? So adjust the sizes accordingly per meal. Again, visually, it tricks yourself into thinking you're having more food, even if you know it's not that much food, but again, we're just trying to trick ourselves. It's just another way to convince ourselves we're filling ourselves up, okay? So 2 really practical pieces of things to do there. Now, the other one I do is before every single meal, all right, and then again during the meal. So I do this twice in one meal. Before the meal, I have 500 mils of water. I just have in a shaker cup. 500 mils of water. If you've got a bottle, use 600 ml bottle of water. I scull that prior to the meal, and then I fill it back up. I fill this back up, and then I finish a second one while I'm drinking the meal, and then as I finish the meal, because that's filling up a liter's worth of room in my stomach over the course of that one meal. I do that every single time, and it's just helping fill more space so I don't feel hungry, okay? So the calories aren't changing. I'm not magically getting more food, but I'm just trying to trick myself that there's more going in than there really is, okay? If you are only in a small deficit, you're only trying to lose a few kilos, you might not necessarily need to do this, but if you're trying to lose a ton of weight, this will help, okay? So if you're in a severe deficit, you get hungry all the time, this is going to help. It's going to help keep you fuller between those meals. Next one, I'm doing it right now, black coffee. I don't count the calories in the black coffee. I think technically there is 6, but I don't even bother counting it. It's negligible as far as I'm concerned. I'm having about 3 black coffees a day, okay? If you really care about your energy levels, you really want to pep yourself up, it does act as an appetite suppressant, okay? So I usually crush 2 first thing of the morning. So I literally wake up, have 500 mils of water, and then I have 2 back-to-back black coffees, and then usually another one throughout the day. Black coffee, great for as appetite suppressant, and again, helping fill yourself up. And if you're lacking energy, which you will if you're in a severe deficit, It's going to help give you a bit of an extra kick. Again, you know, if you're not in this massive deficit, you're not really struggling, these things may not be as important, but if you're starting to struggle, you need some ideas, very good idea to do. Next two things, all right, condiments. I'm not a huge fan of condiments while I'm trying to be really aggressive in a cut. If it wasn't as aggressive, I'm trying to gradually lose weight. So like for a lot of my clients, they can still have a lot of condiments. If you factor them in, they're not a big deal. When you're trying to cut calories everywhere, okay, you want to be as smart as possible, so I don't really use them. The two that I am mainly using, cinnamon, 2.6 grams of that has roughly 6 calories, so not really a whole lot. So with the amount I have, I probably only have about 6 calories worth over the day, so nothing negligible. The other one, and I put this on everything, salt. I'm using a ton of salt. It will make you hold water, but it's not a big deal. Like if you're having the same amount of salt every day, you're not going to see huge spikes, fluctuations in your weight. So just try and keep the salt intake adequate, but I just add this for taste, and I do cramp a lot, so this does really, really help. I put salt on everything. To my knowledge, there's no calories in salt, so it doesn't really matter how much you have. Now, granted, if you're eating a lot of ultra-processed foods, there's a lot of sodium in it, and you may not need the additional salt intake. But if you're eating a lot of clean foods, like you're eating a lot of raw, unprocessed foods, you're going to find very quickly that you're sodium deficient. So adding salt to things is a good idea. And again, it's just going to make everything taste better without having to add a different bunch of condiments to it that do have a lot of calories in it. In saying that, things like stevia, which is a low or no calorie sugar replacement, things like sugar-free maple syrup, there's a lot of different things you can buy out on the market that are quite low calorie in comparison to their other counterparts, which I don't have anything against, but if you're in a severe deficit, you're trying to cut calories everywhere, it's just easier just to stick with the basics and you don't even have to worry about it then. Next one, blender. Now, remember how I said I was having protein as one of the supplements I was having? The stupidest thing you can possibly do, especially if you're trying to lose weight, trying to keep yourself full, stupidest thing you can do is to drink your calories. Do not drink your calories is a stupid idea. So cut your post-workout shake out altogether. Just wait a bit after your workout, wait till you're hungry, eat a proper meal. Now, in saying that, the protein does come in handy, the protein powder. What you want to do is make a very low calorie protein ice cream. I literally put 400 grams of ice into this overnight, a scoop of protein powder, about 200 mils worth of water, so roughly half, and I blend that. I actually add xanthan gum, which has 5 calories per serving of it that you need to use, and I blend that up until it makes a ice cream texture. From there, that's 120 calories of the 125 calories with the xanthan gum, the protein. From there, there's so many different things you can do. You can make really low calorie protein ice cream. That's going to make minimum 600 grams worth of volume. It's going to help fill your stomach. From there, you can add frozen blueberries. You can add light jelly, heaps of different things to keep calories really low, fill your stomach up. Really quick before I show you this, just understand this isn't everything I'm eating, but these are a lot of the staples. And these are the foods I'm recommending. If you're really trying to cut calories from everywhere you can and still trying to get the most volume of food possible to keep yourself full, these should be a lot of foods you're aiming to eat just because you're going to get the most volume for the least amount of calories. If you've got room to play with, you don't need to be so extreme, but still keeping in mind some good options. You can dress it up. I'm keeping it very plain though for the most part because I'm just trying to maximize every ounce, every gram of food I can get for the least amount of calories. So take note. First off, pumpkin, yes, there is seasoning on it, so it does add a little bit of calories, but the pumpkin itself, this particular one I think is like Jarrahdale, anyway, Jarrahdale pumpkin, it's about 36 maybe calories per 100 grams. I'm having between 400 to 500 grams per meal of the meals that have the pumpkin in it. Next one, spinach. I think it's like, off the top of my head, like 30 calories per 100 grams, but 100 grams of that is heaps. Like, it's going to help fill a ton of space. Just don't put it in the pan because it shrivels up into nothing. Keep it raw. It's going to stay expanded out for you. To be completely honest, I haven't really been using it, but for a lot of people just that would struggle with things being bland, the PB2 is way better to use while you're on a diet than regular peanut butter. So get yourself some of that. Now, I have two different kinds of yogurt. I have the Tamar Valley, the natural one, because of the calories in this is great. It's like 59 calories per 100 grams. And I also have the YoPro. Now, reason being, I have this with my breakfast because it not only does have the protein, but it also has carbohydrates in it. So I get additional carbs through this with my breakfast meal because that is also my pre-workout meal. So I have this of a morning. I have 300 grams of that, so I'm getting a ton of it, okay? So you need to buy this over regular yogurt. Particularly, like, if you want the carbohydrates because you're going to work out, I would get this one. And then I have the YoPro of an evening because it is sweeter. It's got basically no carbs in it. It's basically just all protein. Very similar calories. It is slightly more calories than this, actually, believe it or not. But I have this overnight with my dessert because it adds flavor to my dessert. It does taste a bit better than the Tamar Valley one. So I have two different kinds of yogurt. Now, next sort of things, you know, typical bodybuilder stuff. Cauliflower, broccoli, 32-ish calories per 100 grams, no brainer. Frozen egg whites, can't seem to get fresh ones at the moment, but anyway, egg whites should be a staple. So egg whites is like 43 calories per 100 grams, I'm pretty sure. I'm having about, almost one of these a day, I'm having about 800 grams worth of egg whites per day at the moment. Really filling, satiating. It's $10 per packet, so if you're having as much as what I am, it does get pretty pricey, but if you're a normal person, it shouldn't be really that dear, and just heaps low calories, and you can put in so much stuff. Like, you make sweet things with it, like I use some of my dessert, you can make savory things with it, like, very versatile. Get onto the egg whites, okay, and it's easier than cracking a bunch of eggs. Mixed berries, again, per 150 grams, so 150 grams of this is only 70 calories, even 75 grams is 35 calories. Really, really good, full of antioxidants, heaps of good stuff in it for you. Much like everything else, it has a bunch of good stuff in it for you, but berries, really good. Really, like, not only nutritionally dense, but they just sit dense in your stomach, and they are frozen, so it's gonna, again, all this stuff just means it's gonna take longer to absorb, so it's gonna help keep you fuller for longer. So really good idea. Mushrooms, again, pretty straightforward. I think, again, roughly 30 calories per 100 grams. Get around that. Now, these next two really good ideas. Basa fillets, 68 calories per 100 grams. That's as good as a tin of tuna in water or brine. So I prefer to have this just because I feel like I'm getting more out of it. Well, it's per 100 grams, and a tin of tuna is 95, so technically you are, but I just prefer to have that, although I was having the tins of tuna for ages, but I'm just mixing up. I just put a ton of salt on it with a little bit of pepper, and I'm pretty happy with that. You could even add lemon if you wanted. This one, let's talk about this, because this is a secret weapon, alright? So konjac, I don't know how you pronounce it, konjac noodles. This stuff is like if you aren't in a severe deficit, like if you aren't really hungry, like if you're just sort of going through the motions and like you're just trying to find small little hacks, a lot of those foods will help you out. A lot of them still taste pretty good, or you can add things to them that taste pretty good. If you aren't desperate on calories, you're probably not going to be that inclined to eat them. They've got a bit of a weird smell to them, a little bit of a weird taste. I'm that desperate, I don't give a fuck. And in all honesty, all you need to do is you give them a bit of a rinse. I cook them a little bit in the microwave, just heat them up, even though you don't have to heat them up. You could eat it cold. And then I add a little bit of soy sauce to it, and I find it just sort of kills the taste. I mix it with like the pumpkin, the fish, and everything else, so you can't really taste it. I know a lot of people probably wouldn't like the taste. Like if you weren't sort of dying to fill your stomach up, dying to get food in, you're probably not going to be like heaps pumped to have it. But I'm at a point, I don't care. I would eat that raw out of the packet, even with the bit of a fishy taste almost. I'm that desperate, I don't care, I'd eat it like that. In saying that, if I did get fed it and I wasn't as deprived as what I am, I wouldn't be going, oh man, it's the best meal ever, but, you know, I'm not going to spit it out. So, the only other thing I would say, like, again, if you're severely depleted, you're just trying to get every bit of sustenance you can get, you're going to eat it, you're not going to have a problem. The only other thing I'll say, and this is how desperate I am, it is pretty pricey. So, for like that 250 gram packet, it's about $4. So, not great value for money, but I'm that desperate just in terms of trying to get food feeling in my body. I don't care. I'll pay the price. I'll deal with the bit of a fishy taste it does have. So if you're getting ready for a show or you're trying to drop a ton of weight, get onto this. That is seriously game changer. It's some sort of root. I don't even know what it is, but some sort of root. There's like nothing in it. So it's 22 calories per 250 grams. So I think 100 grams is like 10 or 11 calories, whatever it is, but really, really low calorie, okay? So 20 calories per 250 grams. Get onto that. So look, I do want to reiterate, like, if you aren't trying to cut calories everywhere possible, there's way better options, but, like, again, I'm trying to cut calories from everywhere, trying to get calories as low as I can. I'm on a very You know, I'm on a time window here. I've got to step on a stage. So I've got to cut calories everywhere I can at the moment. These are your best option, your lowest calorie options and most volume of food you're going to get for all these different options per 100 gram. Okay, so I'm really trying to fill up my stomach, keep myself full. If you've got any other ideas, if I've missed something where per 100 grams calories are really low, it's going to help fill me up, keep me full for ages, please do tell me. I'm trying to take it all in. Like, as a general day by day, someone's trying to lose weight, I don't have any troubles with this sort of stuff. When you're trying to maximize the amount of food you're getting, because I'm someone that gets very hungry and I am eating well under half the calories I normally eat. I've got to get creative with it. So if you do have ideas, please do let me know. But this should help just about anyone out if you're struggling whatsoever, particularly too if you're doing a prep. Get onto these ideas, or if you're just starting to struggle in general, you just want different, better ideas, something you may not have thought of, because you dress a lot of this stuff up, make it taste a lot better than how I'm having it. But yeah, feel free to implement, and if you've got any ideas, guys, please do let me know.